My name is Chine, I'm the Mandom's voice, and welcome to another episode of the TT series. Guys, if it's the first time you're watching, I ask if you like the video, you subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell. So guys, I want to talk about it. So, the US election. So something a little bit slightly different. And I want to talk about President Donald J. Trump. So yeah, I want to talk about the fact that Donald Trump has been re-elected as the 47th president of America. He's actually the 45th and he's now 47th again. And the reason I want to talk about it is because obviously, you know, Britain and America have a special relationship. They've always had one. America is obviously a leading superpower. But I want to talk about the fact that Kamala Harris has lost, how she's lost, but more importantly, some of the rhetoric that's been pushed on social media. So today, so as soon as I found out, to be honest with you, this is what it comes down to. I wanted Donald Trump to win. And the reason why I wanted Donald Trump to win is because who is Kamala Harris? Like, who is she? I know who they've told us who she is, but who actually is Kamala Harris and what are her policies? What does she stand for? Where does she come from? I posted something earlier on today and I said, at least now there's going to be no more, you know, men in women's spaces telling women what it is to be a woman, and there'll be no more pregnant men. And essentially, the reason why I said that is because Kamala Harris was pushing a rhetoric and was pushing ideas that, you know, that a lot of men, you know, no, we don't identify with. I believe everyone has a right to be who they want to be, but just because of that doesn't mean we necessarily agree with stuff. And Donald Trump, he pushes, you know, traditional family values, and there's lots of things about Trump. So it's not about, is she a woman? It's not about, is she black? So one of the things they spoke about is the fact that, you know, she didn't prescribe as black. She hasn't. She's, you know, South Asian, mixed race, but she didn't prescribe as black. Up until recently, there was clips of Donald Trump talking about it and they tried to make it a big thing like he was being racist, but he said, listen, she didn't. And now she identifies as black. And black women, according to a black woman, when I look at her, I don't see a black woman. You know, she's married to a white man, you know, so I find it quite interesting, particularly with black women. They pick and choose when they want to accept mixed race women as black. So when, for example, when a dark-skinned guy will go out with a mixed race woman, they won't see her as, you know, lots of women will say stuff about, oh yeah, dark-skinned guys only be with mixed race women or light-skinned women, right? But at that point, they're not recognizing them as black. Do you understand? But when it comes to someone like Kamala Harris, who, you know, doesn't present herself as a black woman, you're gonna want black men to you know, to rally around her. Historically, what has she done? Some people are gonna say, oh, okay, it's only because when she was prosecutor, she locked up black men and put them in jail for weed. And I don't think so much that. They asked Kamala Harris, what was you gonna do for the black community? She said nothing. She said nothing. They asked about reparations. She said no. Okay, she said that. No, she had the opportunity to say what she would do. They said that she only had, you know, she had less time to campaign. But in reality, she was the vice president. She's had years and years in order for her to show us who she is and what she can offer. You was the vice president. So that, you know, when you get given a job, an opportunity, right? And then you can climb up the ladder, but you need to show people. So they've given you a really good job. This happens in all of our lives, right? They give you a good position. You're not the president yet, but you're the vice president. How do you become the president? Well, by being a very good vice president. And when the opportunity comes, you become a president, okay? I don't like the fact how they've tried to make this about black men. Oh, black men, you need to support her. You need to support her. I do not identify with identity politics. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous, okay? Identity politics, supporting people based upon their gender, on their race, their culture, is very dangerous. Because what happens, in actual fact, historically, Malcolm X taught us about this. He spoke about the fox and the wolf and the rabbit. And he just said, listen, the fox and the wolf, they both have different ways in order for them to get to the rabbit. But at the end of the day, the rabbit still ends up on the plate. Okay, and if you can understand, if you can understand that analogy, you'll be able to make it make sense for you. It doesn't matter either way. You're still going to be the rabbit that's going to be ended up on the plate. So black men, I didn't like the fact that Obama stepped up and he decided he wanted to try to shame black men. In actual fact, he had a backlash from it because. Why are black men being told, why are black men now the reason why black men, we shouldn't have to. If we want to support her, yes, we should support her. But we're going to support her based upon her policies, not based upon her race and culture or whatever you tell us it's going to be. Women, you need to, but women, this is how a majority of women will vote, based upon being a woman. But judging by the result, is this. Majority of black men did vote for Kamala Harris, and obviously majority of black women did, but let's keep it real. White women are always going to vote, yes? Even for someone that you guys call a misogynist, they try to call him, Nazi, all types of things they try to label him, right? They're still going to vote for this man over a black woman, all right? I want black women to see this, because, okay, feminism is a white woman's construct, all right? And this is an example. What's happened to Donald Trump should show you that feminism is an example of a white woman's construct. It doesn't benefit black women, because at this moment, feminism, there's enough women and white women in America and black women to make Kamala Harris win, okay? If feminism truly favored women, then Kamala Harris would win, okay? When it comes to women's products, you don't need men to support you. You make products go billions, your vote. But when it comes to stuff like this, they always talk about men needing support. Women don't need men to support them in other areas of it. No, because women, when they want something, they're the biggest consumers of makeup and hair products in that industry. It's a multi-billion pound industry because women want it. It's the same argument with sports. Oh, but why don't women get paid enough? The same as men, and it's not, well, do women go to the games? Do women watch it? If women supported women's football, women's basketball, the same way they supported their hair and their makeup, then it would be a complete success. It should not have to warrant men having to support you, because when you have your other industries, you don't need men. And you don't hear men screaming, oh, we need women to support the things we have an interest in. We will just support ourselves, and you get paid based upon, your performance. And if you don't have advertisers, you don't have, people investing, then it's going to be reflective in what you get paid. So you can't just say, oh, it's not fair, we don't get paid as much as the men. Do you bring the same much as the men? It's just how it is. In the corn industry, in the OF industry, do you think the men get paid the same as? Of course not. I find it quite divisive when, people aren't willing to understand and have discussions, and they make it, a black man versus black women issue. And I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. Listen, I like my racist to be racist. I'm going to keep it 100 to you. I like my racist to be racist, to be upfront. I want to know something, right? So I want to know what you're going to tell us. So for example, we already know what Trump is like. We've seen it already, okay? And regardless of what people may not like to hear, is during Trump's tenure, he was the only president, maybe Biden, but he didn't start any wars, okay? He didn't start any wars. In actual fact, he created peace with Kim Jong-un, North Korea, okay? He was the only one that was able to do it, all right? And, he might have, had a lot of bravado, but he didn't start any wars. One of the things that I've spoken about and, I have a problem with is the fact that during Obama's tenure, him and USA and Britain, they, invaded and bombed Libya and destabilized it and killed Colonel Gaddafi. Now, Muammar Gaddafi was a great man. Now, he was a great man to many Africans, okay? He put a satellite in the sky in Africa, so he allowed all of Africa to be able to connect and able to talk with each other on the phones. Now, you might not think that's a big deal. You might think that's because everyone's got phones and how things are now. But, in the 90s and the noughties, before, they used to have phone cards, Call Africa cards. This is quite a big industry, Call Africa cards, right? You would have to, buy these phone cards, and then you have to call back home, and the lines were bad, and you'd be waiting to connect. And you'd have to, I remember that when I was younger, wanted to speak to my dad, and we had to wait for the lines to connect and all that stuff, and you'd be young, we wanted to speak to dad. But when Gaddafi put the satellite in the sky, because we didn't have to rent off like the French people and all the other people that were there, it enabled Africans to be able to connect. Now we have there were certain networks, like in my country, MTN, and it's the phone credit and networks is slightly different in different countries, but I'm gonna speak on Cameroon. For example, when you have credit, right, you can send credit to other people. So if I have phone credit and you haven't got none, and let's say I got £20, I can send you £5, £10, I can send you the whole thing, but I can send it from my phone to your phone. And then what it is, when you want to buy credit, you would have little vendors on the street that would have they'll have their own little stores, and they'll be selling phone credit. And then you just pull up and say, right, I need 10, I need 20, whatever it is, right? Or have 5,000, 10,000 francs, whatever it is, you'll be like, I want, right? So it empowers small communities. They're able to connect and they're able to speak. So I remember when I went to the village, it was very hard where it was right in the middle of the rainforest and the connection wasn't good, but we still had connection. But this is because of something that he's gone and done. Gaddafi, he had a vision for Africa. So Gaddafi had a vision for Africa. He had a United States of Africa. Just like America, he had a vision for Africa, United States of Africa. So it wasn't going to be, the country was going to be one big state. He wanted to put a pipe through the whole of Africa to end the famine and to end the droughts. He had a really great idea, right? It was quite visionary. At the time, I think it was quite visionary. But when I look at what they've done in Dubai and some of the other concepts and ideas that they're conjuring up in the Middle East, I think it actually wasn't that. Well, at the time it was, but when I look at what they've done now, it was definitely quite feasible. We could have done it. So he wanted to put a pipeline through the whole of Africa, and he wanted to be able to run water through it and to get it into the villages and to the droughts and the places that couldn't get water, and that was one of his plans that he wanted to go and do. Another thing that he didn't want to get paid in the dollar anymore from the US, so he decided that he refused being paid in dollars. So what that meant was he asked to be paid in gold. So he said, "No, I don't want to be paid in US dollars. I want to be paid in gold." Now, if anyone knows that the US dollar is not worth anything, essentially. It's worth whatever they say it's worth, but essentially it doesn't have any intrinsic value. Now, when you look on money, particularly British money, not a lot of people keep around you, but you see on the money, it says, "I promise to pay the bearer the demand on the sum of this," right? So £20, £10. So initially what that used to happen is you would be able to go to the Bank of England and you'd be able to get £20 worth of gold. So the gold had to be backed against that, right? So there used to be something called the gold standard. So whatever dollars were on the street, it had to match the gold. But then when they got rid of the gold standard, what happened is they was allowed to print money. And essentially when you print money, you can just print money from thin air, but the money is only ever worth whatever they say it's worth. So he said, "No, I don't want you to get any of your printed money. I want you to pay me in gold." And this was another one of the issues that they've gone and had. So this guy was a visionary for Africa. He was also educated in the UK. They used to work with him until he decided that he had a different vision and a way he wanted to go. And they killed him and they destabilized Tripoli. And he also, another thing he did is, due to Libya was a very rich country, they had a lot of oil, a lot of natural resources, and he would also provide a home for his citizens. And when you would get married, he would facilitate a certain amount of money for you guys to start. So he was quite a visionary man. And I remember when we used to fly to Cameroon, we used to fly through Tripoli. So I've been to Libya. We used to fly through Tripoli on Air Afrique. It was a good airlines, a Libyan Airlines, right? Very nice airlines. And it was affordable. It was good. So I've been to Tripoli. I remember what it was like. Now, Tripoli is a complete war zone. They don't have an airport, of course. They don't have an airline. Currently now there's slavery. They're actually enslaving a lot of Cameroonians in there and trafficking a lot of people through there. And now it's a complete war zone. So who did that? Obama, the Democrats, obviously Britain, they did that. And Trump didn't do any of that, okay? Trump didn't do any of that. And I think you get more let down by people like, for example, Obama. What did he really do for black people? I liked Obama. He talked very well. I was one of those people that, I definitely prescribed to Obamaism and definitely believed in a lot of things that Obama, said and stood for. But he was just a really good speaker. Exceptional speaker. Obama he's still a good speaker now. Excellent speaker. But I think he did way more for other minorities and other communities than he did for black people. And that's just the truth. I don't think black people are completely better off scenario. Yes, I'll talk about Obamacare and certain things, but has America really changed in a sense under Obama? How many black people were still murdered and killed by the police and racial injustice? It was still rife. So I just find it quite interesting that us as black people were quite emotionally led, and you're not allowed to have independent thinking. And when you do, sometimes they're going to call you stuff like a coon for going against necessarily the grain and what everyone else is doing. And I just find I think people need to just read a little bit more, watch a little bit more, and probably get out of their friendship circle a little bit more and have greater conversations, because you don't have to necessarily agree with someone on everything. Do you think I agree with Trump on everything? You think this is me endorsing Trump? Come on, we over here. But what I can say is that I can see similarities in how a collective hive mindset is very dangerous, and identity politics and, supporting people based upon their skin color or their gender or their culture. I don't know, man. I find that really ignorant. Honestly, it's unintelligent, because you're just saying you look like me, so yeah. Okay, cool, but you're not really listening to that person and what they're offering. And even with Kamala Harris, I find it quite, she's lost, and she hasn't even conceded and said, look, you know, came out to her people or to her fans or to her audience, you know. Even that is quite disrespectful. As a, you know, a lot of people have backed you, Kamala. A lot of people supported you. Come out and say something, you know. Even in defeat, there's a certain, I don't know, man. She just has something that she couldn't really connect with the people. And when you can't connect with the people, that's the reason why you lost. It has nothing to do with her being a woman or her being black. No, she just wasn't a good vice president. And ultimately, when you're going against someone like Trump, who has, come on, man, he's a Teflon Don, he's been through a lot. But ultimately, if the Democrats had a candidate, that would not have happened. Hillary Clinton did way better in the polls than she has done. Biden did better in the polls than she's done. So you can't bring someone like that and not give them the time they need. And, you know, that was just, they tried to guilt trip us into voting for Kamala. And you can't guilt trip men. You can't, ladies, one thing you need to understand is you will not be able to guilt trip men into voting for Kamala Harris or into supporting anything that you do, you won't. The best thing you got to do is present it to us and show us why we should do it. And that's why we'll do it. And if men do it because of any other reason, they probably just want to beat. They just want to hit. That's the truth of the matter. Like, when men just start supporting blindly, yeah, they want to, yeah, he's trying to get some. That's what the man them say. They say, bro, you know, you're going to get some, you know. He's trying to get some. So, yeah, like, but, you know, listen, I'm looking forward to see what it's going to be like. One thing I do know is Trump does keep it interesting. Just look at where we are in the world. Okay. They also said he was the 45th president. All right. Then he came back and he's the 47th president. That's one hell of a comeback, man. You know what I mean? I think you can learn a lot from this. You can take inspiration from this. You literally can. Trump is a story where you can take inspiration from this. So I'm saying, I think there's inspiration anywhere you want to look. And yeah, I'm definitely taking a lot of inspiration from this. And also, it's a lesson as well. I want people to understand, and black women to understand, that feminism does not help you, okay? It does not, because it's a white woman's construct. And I'll give you another example. Meghan Markle, for example. Meghan Markle, right? When Meghan Markle is getting dragged, where are all the feminists? Majority of women drag Meghan Markle, especially in this country. The feminists are quiet when Meghan Markle is getting dragged, okay? Because, you know, she's a black woman and she's with Prince Harry, and you know all that came with that, right? But when she's getting dragged, I just see women left, right, and centre dragging her. Where are the feminists then? Where are the feminists then? Women pick and choose. Women pick and choose, and it's based upon who aligns with them and what and the gender or the narrative that they're trying to push at that time. So women, stop telling black men that we need to vote based upon skin color or gender or culture, because it's not, no, that's not what we're gonna go and do. We do show up for black women, and, you know, but that doesn't mean that we're going to be led to the polls and vote in. No, that's not what we're going to do. Men have never ever gone and done that. So guys, my name is China, I'm the man and voice. Please make sure you like the video, you comment, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you on another episode of the TT series, and we out.